Hello everyone. It's great to meet you again in today's video. The main topic we'll be discussing is how can we cure laziness effectively while using the least effort possible? Because if curing laziness is too painful or difficult, then how can one who is already lazy find the motivation to change? I understand this concern. So in today's video, I promise that the solution I present will be incredibly simple. I've personally tried this method myself, and I can confirm that it works. It's really easy, almost surprisingly so. You may just not have noticed it before. The structure of this video will be divided into three parts. The first part is my story. I've never admitted this to anyone, but more than 5 years ago, I was incredibly lazy. The second part is closely related to the first. From being a very lazy person, one beautiful day, I stumbled upon a surprisingly simple method to cure laziness. I'll reveal this method to you in part 2. In part 3, after successfully applying it, I began to dig deeper into the reasoning behind this method. I used it by chance and saw results, but I had a few doubts. So I Googled and read more to learn about the scientific basis for this method. This will be part 3, where I provide information about the science, psychology, and verified principles behind it, so it's completely safe for you to follow. This is the first part of the story about a once very lazy person. Around 5 to 7 years ago, I was someone who was really quite lazy. A familiar scene would be sleeping until 10 or 11 in the morning, waking up just in time for lunch, and then not knowing what to do. I believe this is a habit many of you might relate to, especially if you're not in a traditional job or studying that forces you to get up early. For those of you who freelance or work independently, it's very easy to lose yourself and get stuck in a rut like I did, especially during a time when I felt like I was achieving nothing. I'd go through the motions and feel like I was getting nowhere, lacking any motivation to try harder. I gradually became a sluggish person, hesitating and second-guessing everything I did. Since I saw no results, I easily became bored. Even though I made plans, the next day would come and I'd procrastinate, not getting anything done. Just thinking about what I had to do made me feel stressed and frustrated, so I'd opt to put things off until the next day to feel more relaxed. I always felt I had to do something, but the stress became overwhelming. When I didn't do it, I would just give up, playing games or scrolling through my phone, which felt much more enjoyable. Slowly, I turned into a sluggish person, at first finding it amusing not having to do anything. But over time, I started to feel guilty. I felt like I was wasting my potential, leading me to develop a certain awareness that I needed to break this habit. Otherwise, my life was likely going nowhere. But that was just my mindset. In reality, being lazy had become a habit I was stuck in. So even though I was reminding myself and feeling guilty, I was still very much lazy. Until one day, when it was really cold outside. Like any other day, I was sleeping until around 10 a.m., enjoying the cozy warmth of my bed, sleeping until I feel utterly exhausted. I only get up when I have to, and even then, I hit snooze a dozen times. I get up, have breakfast, and then head back to my room. I sense that today I need to get this and that done. But honestly, it feels so boring. Just sitting there lost in my thoughts can get dull too. Browsing the internet? Even more boring. I've watched all the shows I like, so that's boring too. Therefore, I figured sitting around like this isn't going to work. It's too restless and uncomfortable. So I decided to take a walk to the park to loosen up. Just a leisurely stroll in the park to feel good. Sitting at home too long makes me feel sluggish and uncomfortable. Because every day I'm stuck in my room, staring at my computer, scrolling online. Can you imagine that kind of life? I think you all can relate, right? Just sitting in one spot at home, doing nothing. And when I do work, it just feels frustrating and lazy. At first, I started walking to the park. On the way, I took my time, moving slowly. The weather was nice and cool, so it felt comfortable. After about half an hour of walking, something in me started to release something I can't quite explain. It made me feel really relaxed. After walking for about half an hour, I thought, wow, why do I feel so good? I felt really pleasant. Then I reflected, if I could feel like this while working, everything would be so much easier. At that moment, I felt really optimistic. I began to think that maybe when I exercise, like walking or jogging, my body releases something that lifts my spirits and makes me feel positive and full of life. That's how I discovered a method to overcome laziness, guys. It felt like a springboard, you know? From that day on, before doing anything, I'd usually take a walk. I'd carry a small notebook and a pen with me. When I first applied this method, I timed my walks, expecting to hit a cafe after about half an hour. Why? That's the moment when my brain and body seem to release that awesome feeling. Once I started feeling that way, I'd pop into a cafe. I'd sit back for about 15 minutes and order a drink I loved. That period was awesome, guys. My mood was incredibly upbeat and relaxed. Then I'd sit there and work, and I couldn't believe how efficiently I was handling my tasks. This method serves as a springboard. It's like when you shoot an arrow. Without effort, it might fly 20 meters. But if you use a bow, you can shoot it several hundred meters. I harness those exciting feelings, that buzz, to tackle my tasks as if I'm using the bow to aid the arrow's flight. Sometimes I'd work for 2 hours straight, just completely focused and enthusiastic, you guys. Of course, after that, I wouldn't walk anymore since I'd get tired from it. In the afternoon, I'd start feeling lazy again. But over time, I got used to it. I began to feel like my day had purpose, with this and that getting done, not feeling useless at all. And that's how I'd pop into a cafe. But there are days when I need to do some computer work, so I start timing myself. I take a walk for about half an hour and then circle back home, and by then, I feel pretty good. Because you see, I know my body, folks. When I get home, I freshen up and sip some water. Then I pull out my laptop and get to work. I'm not really encouraging you all to walk around carrying a laptop because at that point, it's no longer enjoyable. It feels more like marching. Sometimes if the laptop is too heavy, it can be quite uncomfortable. Right from the start, you might feel some resistance or frustration, which makes it tough. This method, for someone in good health, usually works quite well. It depends on each person's body. Some people just need to walk to feel great, like me. I'm not an athlete at all. I sit a lot and could be considered not very fit. So when I walk, I feel satisfied. But others who are healthier might need to run to feel that high. It's all up to you. You have to see how your body feels and whether you choose to walk or run. A normal, healthy person will definitely feel a sense of elevation because that's just how our biology works. On days when you're not feeling well, you should probably avoid going out since your body's already weak. You could still hit the gym though. There's no need to lift weights. You can just walk or jog on the treadmill. And being around others in the gym working out can really boost your energy. Sometimes that excitement multiplies several times. When you walk a bit, you start feeling good, and then you might stop and walk a little more. Later, you could swing by a cafe, grab your favorite drink, take a 15-minute break, and then start working. If you're someone who goes to the gym, there's an extra perk. You can bring your laptop. You can drop it off at the gym, then work out, and afterward, pick it up to go to the cafe and work. It solves a lot of problems. Honestly, it's so simple. Running is easy, walking is easy too, you know. One final tip. When you use this method, make sure to have a decent pair of shoes. If you're walking for more than 30 minutes, wearing bad shoes can make your feet sore. Wearing flip-flops is even worse. So try not to let your walking or running become something you're just enduring. You don't want any pain associated with your walks. That way you can enjoy the exhilarating feeling of walking or running while also getting work done. Once again, I'm like the guinea pig applying this method, and it works for someone who used to be incredibly lazy. I can confidently say that I'm now very diligent. It's not self-praise. It would be silly to claim something I don't actually do. If you commit to this routine weekly for several years, you'll see for yourself whether I'm diligent or not. That wraps up part 2. In part 3, I'll start explaining the scientific aspects behind this method. If you don't know something, that's fine. But once you do, you really should dive in and understand it fully. Like, why is it that when we walk, jog, or exercise, our bodies release certain chemicals that make us feel good and happy? From a scientific perspective, when we feel joy or happiness, our bodies are actually pumping out these mood-boosting substances. We're talking about things like oxytocin, endorphins, adrenaline, and serotonin. These are the good vibes chemicals that help us feel positive and energized. Fortunately, these same chemicals are released in abundance when we engage in physical activities like walking or running. That's why we can tap into our body's biological mechanisms to uplift our spirits. Honestly, when I first discovered this method, I didn't really grasp the scientific basis behind it. But as I did more research later on, I realized it's nothing groundbreaking. People have been talking about this for ages. It's just that I stumbled upon it by chance. Another cool thing is that when we exercise more, we actually boost blood and oxygen flow to various parts of our body, which offers a ton of benefits. I also came across a study from the University of Georgia, which found that when you're feeling stressed or worn out, what's the first thing that comes to mind? To take a break, right? But according to this study, if you push through that stress and get moving, like going for a run, that can be 3 times more beneficial than just lying around and resting. Pretty amazing, right? It's like a domino effect. Exercise lifts your mood, and you can tackle any problem that comes your way during that time. This is a simple method I've experienced and wanted to share with you all today. I hope that after watching this video, the feelings of laziness, procrastination, and stagnation will fade away for you. The solution is easy, and there's solid scientific backing to help boost your confidence. I wish you perseverance on your journey of transformation after this video. If you try this method and it works for you, don't forget to share your success with others in the comments below. See you all next time.